Come walk with me, feel the breeze, come walk with me. Oh, and dance, come dance with me, shuffle your feet, come dance with me. And I will tell you when you're older how I loved you just the same. It only matters where we're going. It never mattered from where you came. When life, it gets you down, steals your crown, and breaks your will. I'll pick you up, brush off the dust, and hold you still. Tell you when you're older how I loved you just the same. It only matters where we're going. It never mattered from where you came. And go to sleep, my darling. Oh, the night is getting darker. You can dream about tomorrow. And I will tell you when you're older how I loved you just the same. It only matters where we're going. It never mattered from where you came. I will tell you when you're older how I loved you just the same. It only matters where we're going. It never mattered from where you came. And I will tell you when you're older how I love you just the same. It only matters where we're going. It never mattered from where you came. It never mattered from where you came. It never mattered from where you came.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Shelter Live every Wednesday night, 7 o'clock from the Riley's Creek Baptist Youth Shelter in Rocky Point, North Carolina, virtually reaching our students in this community and wherever you may be watching from. We're grateful to have you. Thank you for joining us. I am your host, Pastor Art Sauer. Good to see you. I'm up here. My wife Shannon is running the board back there, and we are grateful to have you. Thank you for joining us. As always, if just some information, if you want to keep up with us with everything that's going on, we would be grateful to have you. And the way you do that is through our Riley's Creek Baptist Youth Facebook page. Man, that's a lot. Just go to Facebook and look for Riley's Creek Youth, and you'll find it. Also, make sure that you're signed up to receive the email with the weekly student updates and the texts that go with it. To sign up to get the weekly student update with the texts that go with it, go to the Riley's Creek Student Facebook page, and on the left-hand side on the bottom, you can get that parent's email sign up. That is not just for parents. That is for anybody who's interested, so please go ahead and click that. And this way you can get the information about what's going on around here. Other stuff is for those that want to get the last minute or the up to the minute or the up to the last minute stuff. Students can text RCSM Youth to 81010. Parents can text RCSM Parent to 81010. That will get you all of the stuff and information and events as they happen. And so you will be right on the forefront of technology to be able to receive everything that's going on here at Riley's Creek Student Ministry. We're grateful. Some other stuff that's coming up. Just so that you're aware, this past Sunday, the church regathered back together for the first time in 14 weeks. Yay! And I think we had about 80 people, which is great. And so we're grateful. If you want to come, here's what you need to know about coming.
Riley's Creek. We're here to show you how to navigate through the church facility for this coming Sunday's regathering. We will be having one church service at 10 o'clock in the morning. And as you know, we're going to be operating at a 50% capacity in all the rooms of our building. There will not be any nursery or children's programs during the service this Sunday. One of the first things that we ask you to do before you even come to church is to take your own temperature while you're at home. Obviously, if you have a fever, don't come to church. We also ask that you bring your own mask. The CDC recommends that people wear masks in all common areas. If you've forgotten your mask or you don't have one, don't worry. The church will provide one for you. Our leaders have been instructed to wear masks while helping our congregation, and they'll remove their masks when they're on the platform leading or they're out of the common areas. As you can see, there's signs to point out the entrance and the exit. All the doors will remain closed and locked from the outside. We will be practicing social distancing while we're here in the breezeway, so try to arrive early. Once you've made it into this section, a safety team member is going to be taking your temperature as well as the rest of your family's temperature. Once you've cleared this area, you move on to the next station.
Good morning, Sour family. Nice to see you today.
Thank you.
While I write down your names, feel free to take a mask if you should need one.
We also have offering envelopes and pins if you would need some.
Thank you. And also just to let you all know, these cloth masks, you can take one if you want to, and you can take it home, you can wash it, bring it back next week and reuse it. So thank you for this section. It's done. As you can see, this hallway is one way during the pre-service. And right here, you will be having a deacon that will lead you to your next destination. At this junction, you have the choice of either sitting in the fellowship hall or you can sit in the sanctuary. Let's go in here. These are the bathrooms that will be used for those who are sitting in either the fellowship hall or the sanctuary. There's a limited amount of people that are allowed in each bathroom, so please be respectful of those inside. Also, in each stall, there's a sanitizer spray for you to use. Once you're in the fellowship hall, deacons and ushers will help seat you once you've arrived. As you can see, you will be viewing a live stream of the service that will be going on in the sanctuary at the same time. The chairs are set up in rows that are 6 feet apart, and families are able to sit together on those rows. Singles and couples will be seated on rows 6 feet apart. Also, the kitchen is closed, and the water fountain is not in use at this time. If the fellowship hall gets filled to capacity, then we have Sunday school classrooms for seating and viewing of the live streams available. As you can see, there's tape on every other pew, and those same rules of seating apply in here as did in the fellowship hall. In order to maintain social distancing, we've removed the time for shaking hands during worship and song. The offering plates have also been removed, but there are drop slots in several locations, 2 in the back of the sanctuary and 1, of course, on the door under the breezeway. Or you can continue to give online or through text or mail in your tithe. The invitation is also going to be different at the end of the service. If God has moved you during the service to respond to the message, and you feel the need to talk to a pastor, the pastor's office will be open following the end of the service, and a pastor will be there to greet you and to talk with you if needed. At the end of the service, the ushers and the deacons will dismiss you by row to leave the sanctuary and the fellowship hall. Those that need to use the ramps will be dismissed through the doors behind the platform in the sanctuary and through the fellowship hall doors. The remaining pews in the sanctuary will be dismissed through the vestibule right here, and those who are remained in the fellowship hall will be released through the kitchen door. And those that are seated in the Sunday school classrooms will be dismissed through the front of the education building. If you need to visit the pastor, exit the building as you have been dismissed, and then re-enter through the door under the breezeway, and then enter the main office area, and a pastor will be there to greet you.
And there you go. We've got lots of stuff that if you want to help serve, we're looking for greeters, ushers. We're looking for online greeters. We're looking for audio-visual people, on-camera hosts, and all of that kind of stuff. And we need your help desperately, because as we get this thing up and running in live and in person, it takes a multitude of people. Thank you for everybody who helped last week, because we had a ton of folks and almost more people helping than attending, which is kind of weird because everybody was attending, but you get the idea. All right, what else is coming up? Amanda Burdick's food pounding. Well, that's not the right slide, but you get the idea. For the month of June, the church is going to pound Amanda Burdick. Amanda is moving into her new home in July, and we're collecting for the month of June non-perishable goods to give her. This is a container by the entrance to the church to drop these items off. All right, let's see what this slide is. Yeah, that's the right one. Bible study. I hope you've enjoyed doing the Bible studies the last week. We've been, every week, have been doing a new Bible study online with the youth as well as the adults. And thank you for everybody who participated. This week, our Bible study is called What is God Doing? And if you want to know more about it, you can click on the link on the Riley's Creek Youth Facebook page, or with the invitation that I sent to each youth and their parents. You're welcome to do that all on the YouVersion Bible app. Bible app's going to take you through it. You can study at whatever time of day you want each day, so make sure that you come. Graduation week, there it is. That is starting tonight. We are going to talk a little bit about graduation stuff. This Sunday is the official graduation Sunday. So if you're a graduate and will be at church on Sunday, here is your official first break information. Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to hand you a gift as we have in the past, but we do have gifts available for when your name is read. We also have a video of pictures that the people sent in all about you. So we're going to honor those that are graduating this Sunday, so make sure that if you're there, tell them that you're a graduate. We'll seat you in the sanctuary, and we will put you there so that you can get your gifts ahead of time. New announcement. Homeschool ministry meeting. Oh my goodness. June 18th, 6:30 p.m. We are going to do it here at the church, but we are going to have it available on Zoom for those that don't feel comfortable coming. And that is next Thursday. And this is a meeting for anybody who is currently homeschooling and those that are considering homeschooling for next year. It's a new ministry for our church. And so the meeting is going to be twofold. I want to get a feeling for how many people are going to be interested in attending something like this, and what type of ministry are we really looking at. It could be something as simple as gathering once a month just to kind of get together so that we can talk about how's it going with you, and it could be as detailed and as intricate as a co-op ministry. We're going to let it go where it goes and see what everybody's interested in. I'm going to be giving information, taking questions for all that want to get involved, and we'll set up the Zoom conference and we'll email that out so that you can have the information for that as well. Upcoming other stuff, Broken is the next series that we'll be doing after this one, June 17th, 24th, July 1st, and 8th, and so that'll start next week. And then the rest of July and one Wednesday in August, Shelter's going to be doing The Greatest Commandment. And so, love the Lord your God with all your heart, mind, soul, and strength. There is a week in between that we'll probably be doing back to school stuff. I have no idea what that's going to look like because I have no idea what school's going to look like. And so once I get that information, we'll deal with that. But following that, Ask Anything. Whether we're in the building or not, we can do Ask Anything Wednesday. This is your opportunity to text in questions, and we answer them live and in person. I always say that I have the ability to turn down questions, and 99.9% of the time I never do. So anything you want to ask. Typically, teenagers, the topic comes around about sex, so just bear with us. And so we'll answer whatever you need to answer with all of that. But tonight, we are talking about Soar. I've been announcing this for the last couple of weeks now, and this is in honor of our graduates to talk about what it means to soar from the book of Isaiah. We're going to look at a passage of Scripture there from Isaiah 40 to help everyone, including our graduates. But before we dive in, we had a blast last week, as always, playing on Shelter Live, and the winner from last week is this chick right here. Yeah, she is the proud owner of cookies. I think she made them herself, but that's okay. Oh, sorry. Mom made them for her. So cookies were delivered, and she didn't share with anybody that I know of. And so we are grateful that she was able to win. And so we're going to play a game, as always. And in honor of our graduates, this is a game that was called The Year Was 2002. Why 2002? Because most of our graduates were born in that particular year, and so we are going to do this. This is an interactive game, so play along with us. Shannon is going to join me in the back there. She is keeping score. So, okay, so here's the deal. These are multiple choice questions that see if you can answer these questions about 2002. What we're looking for is numbers only. Numbers only. So as you text in stuff, make sure that you are texting in numbers only. Are we clear? Numbers only. Except for one question, and you'll know what that is when it comes time for it. Numbers only. Okay. So you have to guess which one is right. Again, as always, huge shout out to Delmar Pete. He is the guy who did our countdown this week, and that was a high school that was in South Carolina for all of the graduation stuff, and I think it was last year. And also Download Youth Ministries for all the interactive games that we get each week. I've got a huge shout out to those guys because, boy, that takes a lot off of me. So here we go. Which of these took place in 2002? Numbers only. Was it number 1, Kelly Clarkson won the first season of American Idol? Number 2, the first Harry Potter movie was released? Number 3, Apple released the iPod? Or number 4, President Bill Clinton is impeached for perjury? What number is the one that took place in 2002? Number 1, Kelly Clarkson. Number 2, the first Harry Potter movie was released. Number 3, Apple released the iPod. And number 4, President Bill Clinton is impeached for perjury. TJ is the one who's got the answer. Number 2. And Jeb's going with number 1. Sydney's going with number 1. Hey, Sydney, good to see you. Jenna's going with number 2, Harry Potter. Yeah. Jerry's washing his hands. There's Caitlin. Hey, Caitlin. Caitlin's going with Kelly Clarkson as well. We've got a few out there. Jenna's going, you changed your mind, Jenna. All right, we'll let it go because we haven't chosen yet. Hannah's going with Apple released the iPod. Carolyn Muno's going with number 1. Felicia's number 2. Krista's number 3. Or Wade, sorry, Wade. And Ada's going with Apple released the iPod. I think we've got everybody, yes? Maybe? I don't know. Alyssa's not playing. Oh, that's Eva, not Jerry. Sorry. And there's Maddie. Ooh, forgot Maddie. Maddie. And Eva. Eva's going with number 2. Maddie's going with the iPod. I'm guessing not. I'm guessing Alyssa's not playing. Here we go. And the correct answer is 3, 2, 1. The correct answer is number 1. Kelly Clarkson won the first season of American Idol. Can you believe the first season of American Idol was in 2002, and Kelly Clarkson won it. She's been doing well ever since. Alyssa got busy with grandma. Okay, well, her loss. Yeah. All right, number 2. What Disney movie was released in 2002? Is it number 1, Toy Story 2, 2, Finding Nemo, number 3, Monsters, Inc., and number 4, Lilo and Stitch? All right, what do we got? Oh, 1. Wait. Okay. Well, we'll wait. You're going with, for right now, Maddie's going with Toy Story 2.
No, that was an answer before you even said what it was.
Oh, I see.
Ask her, did she say 1 for the first question or the second question?
Okay, so Maddie, my wife wants to know. There we go. I said 1. So Maddie goes for 1 with the first question. All right.
For the first question?
Yes. All right, so question number 2. We're all clear. There we go. Starting with Felicia's answer, number 2, Finding Nemo. Maddie's going with number 2, Finding Nemo. Jeb's going with number 4. Sydney's going with 2. Carolyn's going with 2. Caitlin's going with 2. TJ's going with 2. Ada's going with L Pop 3. What? L Pop 3. I don't know. Jenna's got number 1. Wade's got number 4. Ada's oops. Hannah's going with number 4. Eva's going with number 2. Ada's now going with number 3. Oh, she went with 3. We got everybody? You got everybody with that one. Because the correct answer is number 4. It is Lilo and Stitch. Yeah. Lilo and Stitch. Ada, that's your favorite movie and you missed it. I cannot believe it. Oh, you changed it the last minute. Yeah, probably so. You're 7 seconds behind on my screen, and so you just cut the mustard there, chicka. All right. So, Lilo and Stitch, number 4. All right. What was the album of the year that was released in 2002? The album of the year released in 2002. Is it Bye Bye Bye, NSYNC, Come Away With Me, Norah Jones, The Eminem Show with Eminem, or Walk On by Us? That's interesting. Bye Bye Bye, NSYNC. I'll do my favorite NSYNC impression. No, I won't. Come Away With Me, Norah Jones, Eminem Show by that wonderful human being Eminem, and Walk On by Us. 1, 2, 3, or 4. Let's see the answers as they come in. Jeb's going with the Eminem Show. Eva's going with NSYNC. Bye Bye Bye. And that's it. That's who I got. There we go. Sydney's going with NSYNC. Keep it coming, people. Album of the year released in 2002. Caitlin's going with the Eminem Show. Carolyn, Jenna are both going with NSYNC. TJ's going with the Eminem Show.
She has no clue.
Yes, Miss Sally went with 0 because who cares? I get it. Wade's going with NSYNC. Hannah went with Eminem. Felicia's going with Eminem, and Maddie is going with Come Away With Me, Norah Jones. You're, I think, the only one that picked that one, Maddie. You're a brave woman. And that would be it. So here is the real answer. Ada. Answer. All right, I'm going to give you 3 seconds. 2, 1. Okay. And the real answer is number 2. Come away with me. Maddie, I think you're the only one that got that one right. Okay. This is one where you're going to have to do a ton of typing, and I apologize in advance. But we're going to... there you go. So what we're going to do is put these 2002 movies in order by most money made. And what you want to do is just type the first letter of each movie that you think. So if you believe Ice Age, put an I. Star Wars would be next. S. The Bourne Identity, just put a T. Lord of the Rings, put an L. And so you're going to put those in whatever order you think they are. All in order. Yeah. So I need to see an I, S, T, and L next to your name so that we have all of them. I, S, T, L. T, J. All in one answer, my man. Yeah, ISTL or SITL or TLSI or LSIT or just put list. Whatever the thing is, that's what I'm looking for. And we're gonna move fast because I know y'all are Googling all this stuff anyway, because cookies are for cheaters. Yeah, all right, there we go. Jeb went with list. I hear you. List. LSIT. Sydney went with LSIT. What else we got? SITL. Jenna. Eva went with SLTI. SLTI. Sydney. Oh, Caitlin's going with STIL. Wade went with SITL. Keep it coming. Hannah went with TSLI. I got you. Yeah, LSBI. SLTI. We got everybody? I think we got everybody. Ada must be out. That's all right. All right. And the correct answer would be... Oh, there's SWE. What is that? The correct answer would be... Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers, Star Wars, Episode 2, Attack of the Clones, Ice Age, and then The Bourne Identity. So if you put LSIT, Maddie and Sydney, thank you. LSIT, you guys have won that particular round. All right, what didn't happen in 2002? Number 1, the World Cup was held in South Korea and Japan. Number 2, Justin Timberlake and Britney Spears broke up. I think that happened like 5 different years. Number 3, NASA's Mars rover lands on Mars. And number 4, Yu-Gi Oh My Goodness cards launched in the USA. Interesting. So which one didn't happen in 2002? Was it the World Cup? Was it Justin Timberlake and Britney Spears breaking up again? NASA's Mars rover landing on Mars? Or was it the Yu-Gi-Oh cards that were launched? I know it. It has to be. All right. Eva, you're the first one up there with 4. Ada's back with 4. Alyssa's going with number 2 with the great breakup of the decade. Carolyn's with 4. TJ's with 4. Katie Reed, hey, you've been cleaning. I'm so sorry. Sydney went with Justin Timberlake as well. Caitlin went with the Mars rover because she loves astronomy. Wade went with 4R. I think that was a mistype. Hannah Rooks went with Mars rover. Jenna's going with the World Cup. Jeb went with the whole Justin Brittany debacle. Oh, nope. And then he changed his mind to the Yu-Gi-Oh cards. And then Felicia went with Justin Timberlake as well. And Mom Sally went with the Mars rover as well. Alrighty. And the correct answer would be... It is indeed the Mars rover. That did not happen in 2002. Everything else happened in 2002. So Justin and Brittany broke up in 2002. The World Cup was held in South Korea and Japan. And then they launched Yu-Gi-Oh cards in the United States. I cannot even believe that, in 2002. Alrighty, here we go. I think we're going into the last one, maybe. No? Oh, well, all right, maybe not. What was the average cost of gas in 2002? This will be interesting. Is it number one, $1.12, number two, $1.36, number three, $1.91, and number four, $2.10? So, Maddie, I'm supposed to ask you if number 4 is your answer for the gas question, or was that the last one? So, for gas, is it $1.12? Is it $1.36? Is it $1.91? Is it $2.10? 1, 2, 3, and 4. Everybody's guessing number 1, which is kind of interesting because gas right now is at an average of $1.91, number 3, in 2020. But we're all going with number 1, except for Eva went with $1.91. And Caitlin went with and Carolyn and Wade. Jeb's going with $1.36. 2002, people. Don't forget. Got everybody? Alrighty. And the correct answer would be number 2, $1.36, the average cost of gas in 2002, which up until, this week, that was kind of the average cost of gas here. And this week, it's a little higher, but you get the idea. I'm going to skip that one. Is that going to mess you up? Yes, it is. What was the average of a movie ticket in 2002? Different question. What was the average of a movie ticket in 2002? Is it number 1, $4.53, number 2, $5.81, number 3, $6.45, number 4, $7.24. Can you believe it? None of those have hit the 2020 prices before the pandemic of $10 a ticket, but here we are in 2002. Okay. Mom Sally went with $7.24. Eva's going with $5.81. Jeb's going with $5.81. Hannah's going with $5.81. Sydney's going $5.81. Whew. What else we got? Jenna's going with number 4, $7.24. Caitlin's going with $6.45. Wade went with $7.24. You could tell who pays for tickets and whose parents pay for tickets. Number 2, $5.81 for Carolyn. Felicia went with number 2, $5.81. What do we got? We got everybody? Oh, okay. Hannah's laughing. Maddie, what do you got? Take a guess, Maddie. Maddie's going with number 2, $5.81. Okay. And we're pausing for a moment because I messed up my wife because I skipped a question. Yeah, I skipped a question. I said I skipped a question. So we're vamping here. Yeah, I did. I skipped the question that said who was born in 2002. Because who cares? We're live show here. Live show here. I'm sorry. All right. So the correct answer, now that we got everybody here, everybody who guessed, and that was a lot of you who guessed number 2, $5.81 was the correct answer for that particular one. All righty. All right, here we go. Next question. Who won the Super Bowl in 2002? You ready? Who won the Super Bowl in 2002? This is question number 9. Question number 9. Is it the Seattle Seahawks? Number 2, the Detroit Lions. Number 3, my New York Giants. Or number 4, the New England people. Who won the Super Bowl in 2002? What do you got? Is it number 1, Seattle, number 2, Detroit, number 3, New York, or number 4, the Patriots? Take your guesses. Throw them on there. Let's see what you got. Eva's going with New England. Sydney and Jeb both went with the Giants because I love the Giants. What was the year that the Giants beat the Patriots in the Super Bowl? That's a good question. Was it 2002? Hannah went with number 3 with the Giants. Wade's going with number 4 with the Patriots. Nobody's going with Detroit. Has Detroit ever won a Super Bowl? Jenna went with 4 with the Patriots. Carolyn went with 2. Now she's changing her answer. Number 3. Maddie's going with the Patriots. Nobody picked Seattle either. There was a year that Seattle won the Super Bowl, and that was with quarterback Russell Wilson. Was it 2002 or not? You got everybody? Okay. The correct answer would be, of course, the New England Patriots, because they always win because they cheat. No, they won that particular year in 2002. I think that was the year that they kind of started their dynasty as they were winning everything all the way through all of that kind of stuff. Yeah? So are we good? We got everybody? Shannon, you got a winner? Okay. Alrighty, here we go. We have a winner, and our winner for this particular one is Miss Maddie McPherson. Thank you for playing. More cookies coming your way, and we will send you cookies for that because you're faster at looking up Google things than other people. I'm just kidding. So we're grateful for being able to play and all of that. Tonight, we are talking about Soar. And can you believe it that it's graduation time already? I mean, 14 weeks ago, who'd have thought we've been doing graduation this way? And it might seem like just yesterday for a lot of people that you're going into junior high, and now look at you, It's been a privilege to watch all of the seniors grow individually and as a class, and I'm genuinely excited to see what God is going to do each and through you. One thing I do love about graduation season, though, is that it's very positive. It's so encouraging. Parents, friends, teachers, principal, shower with praise, shower with gifts. This year, again, a little bit weird, but even with that, we were able to, there were parades around the block for people. There was gifts that were brought and signs that were placed in people's yards. I hope we never change that, because I think that's, that's always the norm. It should be. We should treat everybody just like that. And so, they're looking for, people are asking always the questions, where are you going to college, or what are you going to do next year, or, and are the questions that way too well as a senior, overwhelmed with praise, even by the ones that you would least expect. You know, I mean, let's hope that's not because they just want you out of their classroom. But is there anyone listening who can't really believe that they're actually letting you graduate? There's I'll have to say, my high school year, I was one of those people that I actually couldn't believe they let me graduate. I went from a 3.8 in my sophomore year to a 1.9 in my senior year of high school. And look at me now. But don't comment. I don't want to know. But that's, besides the people sitting around you who already know that you're graduating. But don't worry about it. It doesn't matter anymore. You made it. Congratulations. We need to tell somebody you made it. So, tell somebody else that, maybe somebody who barely made it, say, wait, you made it? Whatever. But with all seriousness, congratulations. But let's be honest, graduation ceremonies can be a little rough. Now, it's one of those things where, this year, we really wanted to have the graduation ceremonies until you actually sit through one. They can be long and boring and speeches and, oh my goodness, everybody has something to say and they're going to say it. And so, there's always going to be that speech with some corny motivational quotes that threaten to put you to sleep. And here, I just happen to have a list of some of those corny motivational quotes. Things like, be a Fruit Loop in a world of Cheerios. Oh, that's wonderful. Or how about this one? Be a cupcake because cupcakes are muffins that believed in miracles. Aw, isn't that sappy? Yeah. How about this one? I hope your dreams take you to the corners of your smiles, to the highest of your hopes, to the windows of your opportunities, and to the most special places your heart has ever known. All I can see is Snow White with the little birdies on her shoulder and the mice that are, picking up her little graduation cap. And All right, next, the road ahead. Some of you may even get a note from a teacher that goes something like this. Listen, do just like St. Ignatius of Loyola said, and go forth and set the world on fire because you've already done enough damage here. Anyway, you're given so much encouragement during this graduation season that by the time you actually graduate, you believe nothing can stop you from maybe being the next American Prince Harry, or Christopher Columbus floating down the Mississippi River, Neil Armstrong landing on campus, or Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson made at Anytime Fitness with your 5-pound dumbbells, You may be the next world changer. And there's no doubt that I see great potential in this particular class, but let me ask you some questions. What happens when you don't measure up to what other people want or to the dreams that you have? What happens when you make a mistake or experience a major setback to the plans you might have right now? What happens when you procrastinate and fail one of your college classes or make a bad relationship decision? What happens when you make a dumb decision with your money or say something you shouldn't have said? What happens when your dreams don't turn out exactly the way you planned them? How will you get through that? How are you going to navigate that broken road? Will your faith in Jesus still be intact enough to get you through? Is your foundation enough in Jesus to be able to get you through failure? Now, the truth that I've experienced and that we know from the Bible is that we will all have to face trials and challenges. Jesus even told his disciples, in this world, you're going to have troubles. It's just going to be that way. And so, you see, the question is not, will you experience failure, setbacks, and heartache, but how, when, and where? How, when, and where? Even for those of you that have faith that's really strong right now, everybody's going to experience some kind of failure in their life. So think of it like this. Any car that you ever drive or own is going to need maintenance and repairs at some point in time. That doesn't mean that it's a bad car. In just reality, you own the car, right? Cars break down. It's not a question of if it will break down, the question of what, when, and where is it going to break down at some point. And that's why you can buy car insurance and warranties for the car that you drive. And these things help you prepare for what you already know is coming. Even if you buy a brand new Mercedes, the reality is it's going to need maintenance and repair somewhere along the way, because breakdowns happen no matter how good a car you drive. In the same way, even if your faith is really strong right now, you're going to encounter challenges. And I don't mean this to be depressing, not at all. I actually think it's a gut check that sets up for greater faith in the future, because it can cause us to be more prepared for challenges that we're going to face. I'll give you an example. I remember a time when Shannon and we were driving from, I think it was from Kentucky, it was from Kentucky to New Jersey. And we were driving my car. It was a Chrysler K car. You can Google that. It's a wonderful picture. It was my grandfather's car. He gave it to me, a silver Chrysler K car. And I'm not a car person. I can put that right out there. I'm a little bit better now than I was, but I don't like to work on cars. I don't tinker with them unless I absolutely have to. But back then, I could barely put gas in a car. And the reason why I say that is because in New Jersey, you're not allowed to put your own gas in cars. So I could barely do it. I think Shannon had to teach me how to put gas in my own car. But I didn't take care of the car and hope that all of the rattles, shakes, and shimmies and stuff like that would kind of just eventually stop on their own, you know? And there was one time I heard this squeal every time I pushed the brakes. I figured that probably wasn't good, but one day it stopped, so I hope it worked itself out for itself, you know? And anyone who knows anything about brakes knows that the squeal is a sign to get your brakes checked and possibly even replaced. But I just kept driving on them, and then eventually the squeal went away. But then it turned into this metal grinding sound. And when I finally figured out I had enough of the noise of the metal grinding, because it sounded like, you know, people looking at you as you're going down the road kind of thing, I brought it into a mechanic, and the mechanic said I not only needed new brake pads, I also needed new rotors, because the brake pads were totally gone all the way down to the screws, and they were cutting a groove into the rotors to the point where there was only about 1/16 of an inch left on the rotors from cutting all the way through, and my rotors completely locking up on the road. That had nothing to do with going to visit my parents in New Jersey. So here we're driving this car, same car that I got fixed. And we're driving this K car down the road, and it would begin to shake. Couldn't figure out why. I'm like, why is this car shaking? You'd be driving down the road, and all of a sudden you feel this, bah, 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 bah. And I'm like, maybe it's the tire. And we go out and check. No, the tire's fine. So we literally drove 50 miles an hour down the highway, and a 70-mile-an-hour highway, so it wouldn't shake so bad. And when we got to New Jersey, I had a mechanic look at the car, and he said, you know, what happened was there was a small bolt that was in the shocks of the car at the very top in the strut, and that bolt became loose. And if you had just tightened that bolt, everything would have been fine. It would have been like a $5 repair, right? But since I didn't tighten the bolt, it had shaken loose the entire strut, the entire CV boot, and all the other parts to the tune of about $1,000 that had to be fixed on the front end of my car. So here's a couple of things to note with my failured experience in cars. Number one, don't look at those as failures. Those were learning opportunities, because I can assure you I never did any of those again. I learned. Matter of fact, I learned how to put my own brakes on. I learned how to change the struts on my car. I learned how to do all of that so that none of that would ever happen again. Number two, I also believe that there are people in the world who have skills that are way better than mine, and I want to learn from them. So I learned how to put brakes and struts and all that on my car from somebody who knew how to do it. And I also know that when I don't have time to do it, there are people that can do it a whole lot faster, a whole lot better than me. I learned how to change all of those things. All right? Let's take it back to the Bible. You see, I believe that greatness isn't measured by the absence of failure, but by the character formed through it. Greatness isn't measured by the absence of failure, but by the character formed through it. That's why in the book of James it says this, "Consider it pure joy, my brothers and sisters, whenever you face trials of many kinds, because you know that the testing of your faith produces perseverance." But you probably already know that you're going to face challenges when you go out into the future, don't you? I mean, I think we all do because we're human. Well, Isaiah 40:30 says this, "Even youths will grow tired and weary, and young men stumble and fall." Isaiah 40:30. And I can go on for days telling you about some of the dumbest mistakes that I've made and the setbacks that I've faced in the past 32 years since I graduated high school. Can you believe that? 32 years since I graduated high school. Things like, not specifics, but in general, irrational relationship choices or unwise financial decisions, hurtful words that were spoken, helpful words that weren't spoken, failed ventures, untried adventures, but that's nothing new. I'm not the only one who's experienced challenges. If you look around at the people you admire and you seek to emulate, the ones that you strive to be like, the ones that you may put on a pedestal and say, boy, I really want to be like that person. Can I tell you? They've all experienced challenges. And yet, they've all been transformed one way or the other through them. Why? Because failure through Christ becomes a seedbed of greatness. Failure through Christ becomes a seedbed of greatness. It becomes a greatness through the transformation of our character. I mean, are you going to let your struggles define you, or will you lean into Jesus and soar? I read that passage from Isaiah chapter 40. And let me read a passage that comes around in that same chapter, but right around the verse that I just read and I shared a minute ago. It says this. It says, "Do you not know? Have you not heard? The Lord is the everlasting God, the creator of the ends of the earth. He will not grow tired or weary, and his understanding no one can fathom. He gives strength to the weary and increases the power of the weak. Even youths grow tired and weary, and young men stumble and fall. But," let me stop there for a minute. Note the most important word in this entire passage is but. And it's one of those things I always say, there's three major words that always happen in Scripture. If you have a therefore, you got to find out what the therefore is there for. The other two words are and but. And is always important because it always has something that follows through with it. But is always huge. It's real easy to make but jokes when we're all mature online here. And I mean, it's a junior high kids thing that do that kind of thing. I think they just love butt jokes because they get all cracked up about them. Ha ha ha. But seriously, but, B-U-T, is the most powerful preposition that precipitates praise. Say that over with me. The most powerful preposition that precipitates praise. It's the most important word in this passage. And so let's keep reading. But those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not faint. From Isaiah 40:28 through 31. Now notice that this entire passage, it does not say that we'll get away without challenges. I mean, we're all going to grow tired and weary, right? We're all going to stumble and fall. We're all going to experience setbacks and failures. These are all part of being a human. You are not alone. Let me give you some examples. Famous people right off the top. Did you know that Oprah Winfrey was fired from her first television job. Yeah, they were scared of her ghost. It was the Phantom of the Oprah. Just kidding. Number 2, Steven Spielberg was rejected twice by the prestigious USC School of Cinematic Arts. Of all things, he was rejected twice. Thomas Edison's teachers said of him that he was too stupid to learn anything. And Walt Disney was fired from one of his first jobs because he, get this, quote, lacked imagination and had no good ideas. Can you imagine? It's a good thing that greatness isn't measured by the absence of failure, but by the character formed through it. Otherwise, we would not have many of the major leaders of the church. Think about it. Adam and Eve fell to temptation and sin, and yet God used them to start the human race. Jacob swindled and manipulated for his place in the family, and yet God made him the father of the nation of Israel. Moses, who was full of excuses and could not speak in front of people, and yet God used him to be the leader of the nation of Israel. King David, who was too small for battle, failed in adultery and murder, and yet he beat Goliath, and he was remembered at the end of his life as a man after God's own heart. Solomon, who had a weakness for beautiful women, was made to be one of the wisest men who ever lived. Peter, who denied Jesus at the most critical moment in all of history, was restored by Jesus and became the rock of the church. Paul, who was filled with murderous hatred for Christians and yet was chosen by God to be saved and used as one of the foundational leaders of the Christian church. So I hope you're going to see this clearly. Greatness isn't measured by the absence of failure, but by the character formed through it. If you walk alone, apart from Jesus, you're going to stumble through your circumstances. But if you walk with Jesus, you're going to soar. If you walk with Jesus, you will soar. And as you go through this graduation season and as you enter a new and exciting season of life for those that are graduating, please remember this word to you. But those with hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not be faint. So don't let struggles define you. Instead, lean into Jesus and soar. Let's pray together. Father, thank you for allowing us to have this opportunity. And Lord, my prayer is always for these graduates that you would help those that are graduating, that you would give them the courage to move forward, that you'd give them the courage to be able to fail. And Lord, when they do, my prayer is that their foundation is in you and you alone, and that you'll pick them up when necessary, you'll help them through when necessary, you'll be with them for every aspect of their life, especially the time of failures, because that's when they need you most. And Lord, through that, my prayer is always that you'll help them to learn, help them to grow, help them to deal with every situation that's there. Not just our graduates, but everybody who's listening. That we can look to you as the author and finisher of our faith, the very foundation and the rock of who we need. And regardless of what happens in our life, regardless of maybe the stupid things that we do, you said that we can come to you. That you said that you would grant us mercy, you would grant us grace, and there would be a never ending, you would never treat us poorly because of the things that we do, but you're there to help reconcile us back. And so, Lord, I pray for every believer that we could have that foundation. Father, for those that struggle through that they don't have that foundation, I pray that for even believers who struggle with, what happens when I mess up, or I really don't want to mess up. Lord, I pray that you would through the power of the Holy Spirit, that you would compel them to know that you're there, and that you would show them that you're there, and that they would find you, and that they would ground themselves in you through your word in a very real way. For those that are not believers, Lord, I pray that you would help them to understand that the first step for them is to accept your son Jesus, to become a believer, to believe that he said everything that he said came true, that he died, that he rose again, all for them, all for us. And that, Lord, that if we believe that, and that we would confess that back to you, that you would protect us, you would guide us, you would be with us, you'd send the Holy Spirit for us. Here, you'd give us joy, peace, and patience. And then, Lord, even past this, that we would not have to experience hell, and we would be able to experience heaven and spend it all eternity with you and your Son. And so, Father, however you need to deal with folks who are listening to this broadcast tonight, my prayer, as always, is that you would teach them and that they would respond, that they would do something, that they wouldn't just turn off the screen and go back to life as usual, but that they would come to you and they would do something different. And so, Lord, thank you again for all that you're doing through this. And my prayer is that soon we'll be able to get back together and that we can see each other in person and encourage each other in person as we have on Sundays, that we can soon on Wednesday nights. We thank you and love you in Jesus' name. Amen. Thank you for joining us tonight. As always, tell your friends to come back next week. Be looking for who wins the cookies in the coming weeks ahead. Maddie's got more cookies coming to her. We'll see you back here on Wednesday night.